Good morning, distinguished examiners and professor. My name is Andita Fadilah, master's student in management at Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Today, I would like to present the result of my thesis entitled Analysis Strategies and Determinants for Foreign-Owned Company Competitiveness in Indonesia's Tobacco Products Industry. This research that the XYZ is used as a case study to analyze the factors influencing the company's competitiveness and to formulate relevant strategies for improving its competitive position. The background, this research is motivated by the significant size of Indonesia's tobacco market, which is also characterized by the high level of complexity and competition. Based on the data, the smoking prevalence in Indonesia reached 84, 88, 38.7%, and while the government revenue from tobacco excise in 20 and 25 reached 211.7 trillion rupiah. However, the size of this market is also accompanied by various challenges, particularly regulatory pressures, increasing excise taxes, restriction on marketing and promotional activities, as well as changes in consumer behavior. At this time, the industry is highly competitive and dominated by several major companies. This situation creates significant challenges for foreign-owned companies, including PT XYZ, in maintaining and improving their competitive position. Therefore, companies need adaptive strategies that optimize their internal strengths while effectively responding to change in the external environment. The research question. Based on this background, this research focus on three main research questions. First, what internal and external factors influence the competitiveness of PT XYZ? Second, what is the internal and external strategic condition of PT XYZ based on the EFAS and EFAS analysis? And third, what strategies can be implemented by the PT XYZ to improve its competitiveness? Therefore, this research follow three main stages: identifying the determinant and of competitiveness, evaluating the company's strategic position, and formulating strategies to improve competitiveness. To answer this research question, this study analyzed both the internal and external environments of the company. In the internal environment, analyzed using a value chain analysis, as well as the TIROCA, FBA, and also MFOHR frameworks to identify the company's research, capabilities, and strategic function. Meanwhile, the external environment is analyzed at the macro level using PESTEL and also at the micro level through consumer and competitor analysis. These analyses are used to identify the company's strengths, weakness, opportunities, and also the threats, which provide the foundation of strategy formulation. The conceptual framework of this research, integrated internal and external environmental analysis, to understand the strategic position of PT XYZ. The identified factors are then evaluated using IFAS and then also the EFAS, and then subsequently integrated to generate strategic alternative that are relevant to the company conditions. Ultimately, the entire analytical process is directed toward the main objective of this research, which is to formulate strategies for improving the sustainable competitiveness of PT XYZ. All right, this research applied a qualitative approach using a case study method and an interpretive paradigm with the PT XYZ as the research object. Primary data were collected through semi-structured in-depth interview with the 5K informants collected through purposive sampling. The data were then transcribed, coded, categorized, and also analyzed to identify key themes with the support of in vivo. The qualitative findings were used to identify internal and also the external factors, which are evaluated through IFAS and also EFAS, and subsequently integrated using those metrics to formulate strategies for improving competitiveness. And the last data validity was also strengthened through triangulation using company documents and secondary data. Based on this research finding, the competitiveness of PT XYZ is influenced by a combination of internal and external factors. The key internal factors include organizational capability, distribution capability, marketing capability, brand strength, and product quality. Also, cross-functional collaboration, as well as relationship with distributors and also outlets. Meanwhile, the main external factors include government regulation, economic condition, consumer behavior, and also the industry competition. These findings indicate that the competitiveness of PT XYZ is not determined by the single factor. Instead, it depends on the company ability to integrate its internal capabilities in responding to the changes in the external environment. The internal environment analysis shows that PT XYZ has relative integrated value chain activities. Within its primary activities and company strength can be seen in the raw material management, production processes with high quality standards, and then distribution network, and also marketing, sales, and service that are adaptive to regulatory changes. These activities are supported by procurement, technology development, HR management, and organizational structure. The synergy between primary and supporting activities creates several important values for the company, including product availability, effective distribution, strong marketing execution, and long-term relationship with distributors and the outlets. This capability provides an important foundation for increasing market share and strengthening the company's competitiveness. The Teiroka analysis further demonstrates that the company's competitiveness doesn't only depend on tangible resources, such as production, facilities, and infrastructure, but also the intangible resources and organizational capabilities. Organizational capabilities are particularly important because they enable the company to integrate various resources and functions in responding to market changes. From the external environment perspective, company faces significant regulatory pressures, changes in economic condition, and consumer purchasing power, shift in consumer preferences, and increasingly aggressive industry competition. Therefore, adaptability becomes one of the key strategic capabilities PT XYZ. The identified internal and external factor were then evaluated through IPAS and EPAS and integrated into the strategic factor in analysis. The result indicate that PT XYZ has relatively strong internal capabilities, particularly in organizational capability, distribution, marketing product quality, and relationship with market partners. However, this strength must be continuously optimized to address external pressure, particularly government regulation, changes in consumer purchasing power, and intense industry competitions. Therefore, the company's strategic position requires an approach that focuses not only on expansion but also adaptability and the continuous strengthening of internal capabilities. Based on the integration of internal and external factor, the TOWS metric was used to generate several strategical alternatives. In general, the strategies are directed toward utilizing the company's strength to capture market opportunities, leveraging strength to respond to external threats, addressing weaknesses by utilizing available opportunities, and developing defensive strategies to minimize weakness and threats. These strategies are then translated into corporate, business, and functional level, ensuring that the strategy formulation does not remain conceptual but can also be directed toward practical, practical implementation within company. Based on the overall analysis, improving the competitiveness of PTXYZ requires the integration of strong internal capabilities with the ability to adapt to external environment changes. The company needs to strengthen its distribution and marketing capabilities, maintain brand strength and product quality, improve cross-functional collaboration, and maintaining strategic relationship with distribution and outlets. At the same time, the company must respond quickly and adaptive to regulatory changes, economic condition, consumer behavior, and competitive dynamic. Therefore, the strategy for improving competitiveness should not only focus on the short-term growth, but also on developing a sustainable competitive advantage. The findings of this research confirm that competitiveness of PTXYZ result from the interaction between the research organizational capabilities and its ability to adapt to environmental changes. Having strong resources alone is not sufficient without the company's ability to effectively integrate it and implement it those resources. Therefore, organizational capabilities and cross-functional collaboration play an important role in connecting internal resources with strategic execution in the market. The finding also demonstrate that in the highly regulated industry, such as the tobacco products industry, strategic adaptability becomes a critical component of corporate competitiveness. Based off the findings, three main conclusions can be drawn. The first, the competitiveness of PTXYZ is influenced by a combination of internal and external factors. Second, the company possesses several strategic internal strength, particularly in organizational capabilities, distribution, marketing, product quality, and relationship with market partners. However, the company continues to face significant external pressure. Third, the strategy for improving the competitiveness of PTXYZ should focus on the optimizing internal capabilities and integrating them with the company's ability to adapt to changes the external environment. From a managerial perspective, this research implied that PTXYZ needs to develop a more integrated strategy across the marketing, sales, operation, and other supporting functions. The company also needs to improve the speed of strategic decision making and strengthen its ability to adapt to regulatory and market changes. This research has several limitations, particularly because it's applied a case study approach focusing on a single company with a limited number of informants. Therefore, future research may expand the research objects, involve more informants, or apply a comparative approach to provide a broader perspective on the competitiveness. Foreign-owned companies in the tobacco and product industry. This concludes my presentation on the analysis of strategies and determinant of foreign-owned company competitiveness in Indonesia's tobacco product industry. I hope this research can provide both academic and practical contribution, particularly in understanding strategies for improving corporate competitiveness in an industry characterized by intense competition and significant regulatory pressures. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to my supervisors and examiners for their guidance, attention, and the opportunity to present my research. Thank you very much.